Today is a normal day here at Just Off the Square. There are no special events or celebrations in the coffee shop today, but I don't think there has to be a special event for me to propose a toast, especially a toast to my grandparents, who loved me beyond what I can describe and done more for me than I can fit into 10 more toasts after this one. Maybe 11 more toasts, but not 10. Now it would take me another 23 years to tell you about the people who raised me, and by that time the things they've done for my benefit would have doubled. My grandparents have spent the last 23 years helping me become the woman I am now. They've encouraged me to always do my best and to set goals and pursue them with everything I've got. They taught me life lessons and practical lessons, and that if an item is broken, duct tape is an excellent temporary fix. They took care of me when I was sick, even if it kept one or both of them awake all night, and they did everything it took to get me well again. But above all else, they taught me from a young age that Jesus is my Savior. They were the ones who planted the seed that would eventually grow in my heart and become the cornerstone of my entire existence, and that's something I could never thank them for enough. I'd like to share 2 stories about them to show you what kind of influence my grandparents have had on my life. One about Papa and one about Nana. I've been an anime fan since I was 15. After I got into it, I started watching the shows and reading about them. And through a series of events, I learned that there was an annual anime convention in the Atlanta area. So I asked Papa, who is not an anime fan, if we could go, and he took me. This was so selfless on his part because it meant a 3-day-long trip to Atlanta to spend 1 full day and 2 half days at a convention that was all about anime, something he knew very little about and had no personal interest in. He picked up on a lot of anime references in 3 days and even used them later, which I didn't expect but was delighted by. The next year he took me and my sister both to the 3-day event. And what stood out to me is that he never complained. He took us to this thing and got immersed in that world just for us, and seemed to enjoy it just because we were enjoying it. My point here is that Papa has always been willing to step out of his element to take his loved ones to places they want to go. In my case, one of these scenarios was a 3-day-long anime convention. However, I will say that he has one boundary. He will not take me anywhere that would, in some way, be harmful. Of course, he wouldn't take me anywhere dangerous, that's just common sense. But I mean he wouldn't take me anywhere that would have a genuinely bad influence on me. Even if I was disappointed at first, I always learned later that his decisions were for the better. Having a grandfather who has always let me have fun, but has also kept me away from things that could have been bad for me is something I'm grateful for. And that is far from being the only thing he's done selflessly, but it gives you a small glimpse. Now let me tell you about one of the times Nana acted selflessly. This one's not pretty, but it makes the point well. When I was 16, a variation of the parvovirus went around. This particular variation was able to infect humans and caused ceaseless nausea and vomiting. I wish I were exaggerating, but I'm not. It hit me around 10 o'clock one night, and I spent the first hour going between bedroom and bathroom, vomiting every 20 minutes. Again, I wish that were an exaggeration, but it's not. Eventually, I ended up lying on the bathroom floor with a pillow and a blanket so I could rest between vomiting spells. My grandmother took care of me all night long, as well as Papa, who was also slightly sick that night. And finally, at 5 a.m., I was showing symptoms of dehydration. Despite her having been awake all the previous day and now all night with Papa and me, she got a few things together and took me to the ER as quick as possible. All I remember of that was her driving as fast as the speed limit allowed, maybe a little faster, and flashing her emergency lights the whole way. She sat with me for another 2 hours in the ER while they gave me an IV and read to me while we were there. Eventually she was able to take me home and put me in bed. I finally slept, and I suspect she did too after such a long night. Like I said, that wasn't a pretty story, but I think it tells you a lot about Nana as a caretaker. Now, they may not have been perfect, but no one is. My grandparents have flaws like everyone else, but they have been exceptional caretakers in my 23 years, and for that they deserve the deepest gratitude. So, I propose a toast to Larry and Patricia Banks. Thank you for all that you have done and continue to do. I may be toasting with coffee rather than fine wine, but the sentiment remains the same. Thank you for being awesome grandparents, and may life be beautiful, wonderful, and amazing for you both.